Good evening, everyone. Tonight's story is about a house that no one dares to enter. A house that waits silently, year after year, for the full moon. Because on those nights it wakes up. On the edge of the small town of Ashford, there's a house no one will buy. 2 stories tall, rotting porch, broken shutters. It's been abandoned for decades, yet somehow, the windows are always clean, as though the house is watching. Locals call it the Holloway House, after the family that disappeared inside it one October night. They say it only comes alive under the full moon. Claire, a graduate student in folklore, didn't believe in ghost stories. She came to Ashford with her boyfriend Mark and their friends Sophie and Daniel, determined to prove the legends wrong. "It's just a house," Claire said as they pushed the iron gate open. "People vanish in the woods, not in buildings. We'll stay one night and that's it." The moon was already rising, fat and silver. The neighbors had shut their curtains tight. Inside, the house smelled of damp wood and dust. Wallpaper peeled in long strips, but the floor was strangely polished, reflecting the moonlight through shattered windows. Sophie shivered. "Feels like someone just left." They laughed nervously and set up their gear: cameras, recorders, flashlights. Claire wanted evidence, but the house wanted something else. At midnight, the whispering began, soft at first, then clearer. It wasn't coming from the halls or the rooms. It was coming from the walls themselves. "Get out. Too late. You belong here." Daniel pressed his ear to the plaster. His eyes went wide. "There are voices inside, behind the walls." Then the moonlight shifted, streaming directly through the broken roof, spilling onto the parlor floor, and the floorboards began to breathe. They should have run, but something held them there. Mark staggered forward, entranced. His shadow stretched unnaturally long, twisting across the floor like a living thing. The others tried to pull him back, but the shadow detached, rising, teeth forming in its darkness. It lunged. The flashlight flickered. When it came back on, Mark was gone. Only his shoes remained, lying neatly on the floor. The house groaned, doors slamming shut one by one. The group was trapped. They fled upstairs, but every hallway looped back to the same landing. Windows opened onto brick walls. Rooms rearranged themselves when unlit, and always the moonlight followed, pouring through impossible angles, as though the house itself bent to let it in. Sophie whispered, "It's the full moon. It's feeding it." At 2 a.m., Daniel vanished. He was right behind them, then gone. His recorder clattered to the floor. When Claire picked it up, she heard his voice on loop. "The moon sees you. The moon sees you." And faintly under his voice came a child's laughter. The walls began to pulse, the wallpaper peeling in patterns, spirals, symbols, faces screaming silently. Sophie couldn't take it. She bolted down the stairs. Claire chased her, but when she reached the parlor, Sophie was standing in the moonlight, her body frozen. Her skin cracked like porcelain. Light poured from the cracks. Then she shattered, gone in a burst of dust and ash. Claire was alone. The house closed in, groaning, whispering. She clutched her camera, desperate to capture proof. But when she looked through the lens, she didn't see the house. She saw herself standing outside the house, staring back, older, hollow-eyed. Her mouth moved, but the words came from the walls. "Welcome home." The front door opened on its own. Moonlight spilled through. Claire staggered outside, gasping. But Ashford was gone. The streets were empty, the town erased. Only the house remained, standing in a wasteland under the swollen full moon. And when she turned back, she saw figures in every window. Mark, Daniel, Sophie watching her smiling. Then she felt the pull. Her shadow stretched across the dirt, dragging her back toward the house. When the sun rose, the Holloway house stood silent again. The neighbors swore they heard screams that night, but no one dared check. By morning, all that remained on the porch was a single camera. Its film burned white, and inside the house, in the parlor where the moonlight falls, 4 shadows now wait for the next full moon. If you ever see a house glowing under the full moon, don't go inside. Because once the house sees you, it never lets you leave.